Let's take a live look now at the Senate floor where lawmakers are holding a rare Saturday meeting. So they're set to hold a closely watched procedural vote on Trump's mega bill. So this is essentially a vote to vote, right? And the vote is expected to happen soon, and we'll bring you any updates on when that begins. It's a high-stakes initial vote because Republicans can only lose 3 votes. We just learned moments ago that 2 key holdouts now say they will vote to advance the Senate's version of Trump's big, beautiful bill, and that's Senators Susan Collins and Josh Hawley. If the motion to proceed clears, then we would see the chamber debate the bill and then move on to what they call a vote-a-rama. So this is only the beginning of what could be a very long weekend with a lot of coffee and Red Bull for them. Republicans are racing forward as an initial July 4th deadline to have the bill on the president's desk quickly approaches. But President Trump is now saying, look, take a look. It looks like that deadline might be a little bit soft. Listen.
How important is the July 4th deadline to you?
It's important. It's not the end all. The problem we have is that it's a great bill. It's a popular bill, but we'll get no Democrats only because they don't want to vote for Trump. If that bill was their bill, oh, they would be so happy. It's so great for our military. It's great for everything. And they would normally vote, but because their hatred of Trump, they have Trump derangement syndrome at levels never seen before.
All right, Republican lawmakers are looking to secure the next victory for President Trump after a week of wins, which includes brokering a ceasefire deal between Israel and Iran, agreements from NATO allies to ramp up defense spending, and several Supreme Court wins for the administration as the stock market also hits an all-time high. We're going to welcome our political panel here to News Nation Now. We have Alex Zdan, he's a GOP political strategist, and David Teferi, he's a former Obama campaign foreign policy advisor and former State Department official. Great to see you, gentlemen. Alex, I'll start with you. Are Republicans going to be able to get this done?
We'll have to see. Obviously, the Senate is taking this up in that rare Saturday session when lawmakers in Congress are there on the weekend. You know they're working hard. They're being forced to work hard by this president who wants them to get this done. I think in one way or another, one form or another, this will get done. Whether or not it happens by the stroke of midnight or the stroke of noon on July 4th, we will see. Don't forget, this is a self-imposed deadline. We're not up against something like a shutdown or a default threat. So it's clear from just the movement we've seen today that leadership is working hard on this. President Trump is working hard on this. The senators are working to do a back and forth and see what they can add to this bill to really earn their vote. This is going in the right direction.
Right, and you know, it is self-imposed, and we know that President Trump loves the drama of all of it. David, where do Democrats sit on this and the progress?
Well, the Democrats don't control the process. The Republicans do, and for now at least, most Republicans in the Senate either are loyal to President Trump or scared of President Trump. And even if they have objections on principle to some aspects of the bill, I agree with your guest that they're likely to support President Trump ultimately and pass his bill.
All right, moving on to this. So the New York City mayoral race is garnering a lot of national attention. And I have to say, as I've seen, you know, in the last several months, as people have been talking about that, hold it right there if you can here. As I've seen a lot of national coverage leading up to it, I'm like, if you don't live in New York City, why do you really care about this? But here's why you may actually care about it. So Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani, speaking at an event earlier today, won the party's primary race against former Governor Andrew Cuomo. After the election, Mamdani spoke out about where he stands on socialism and capitalism. Listen.
When people say Democratic Socialist, right, and I'm curious what you think this means. I mean, do you like capitalism?
You're a proud Democratic Socialist. Do you think that is a platform that would work for other candidates running in other parts of the country?
Absolutely. I think ultimately this is a campaign about inequality.
All right, David, I'll give this one to you first. What do you think of this message for Democrats as your party is really searching for a real direction right now?
I don't think this is a winning approach. The label socialism does not appeal to the majority of Americans. It's going to be very hard to win general elections around the country if you're identifying as a socialist. And maybe he can win in the general in New York, but in most states, it's not that way. I do think that this shows that Democrats are searching for a path forward. in light of the losses in the last election, I don't think ultimately the Democrats are going to veer to the left as this election and primary election suggests, but there may be other candidates like this who have some appeal, including AOC and others. But ultimately, the Democrats likely on a national stage are going to push forward someone very centrist who's going to address some of the things that Kamala Harris did not address.
Yeah, and Alex, you've got Trump calling him a communist. What can Republicans glean from this? What can Republicans take away from his win?
What the country can take away from his win is this is the Democratic Party now. Democratic Socialist wants to have the state pay for the rent, the state to run your grocery store, the state to run your life. This is the Democratic Party. And, you mentioned before that not a lot of people were following this before. I live in New Jersey. So the New York-New Jersey connection has been a part of my life since I was a kid. My parents were born in the city. This is crushing. This is soul-sucking to see one of the world's great cities, a city that I love to go to, potentially captured by this Democratic Socialist, depending on how the election goes in November. And it's become an issue in our governor's race. The Democrat running for governor in my state, in New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, endorsed Zohran Mamdani. And our Republican nominee, Jack Ciattarelli, is offering free passage and also a tantamount to refugee status to New Yorkers who want to move to New Jersey. If this guy takes over, you'll be welcome here in New Jersey. That's what we're going to do. We're going to welcome New Yorkers. We're going to flee socialism if this guy gets in.
Yeah, there's been a big joke, too, that Florida is going to see a big influx, too. All right, Alex and David, appreciate your time today. Hope to see you again soon.
Yeah.
Thanks. 20 till the top of the